Good Friday morning. Good Friday morning. How you guys doing this morning? Good Friday. I believe it's Friday. Good Friday morning. And to those that celebrate Halloween, happy Halloween. Um, good morning. Good morning. Boo. Okay. For those of you that do the Halloween things these days, of course, I'm not participating. Um, I haven't bought any candy or anything. That's a choice that I made. I don't have any youngins, and I'm not giving out any candy. And my lights will be out. Hey, Love Self One. Hey, Pickles. What's up, Brave Knowledge, Indigo, Luis Williams, Anel Furman, Latina Cruz, Sean DeVee, Takachi, and Glenn Dean. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. How are you guys doing this morning? I'm just in the process of taking my morning meds. I take two of these daily. Yeah. So, still taking my meds for the flu. I'm taking something called Timiflu. Um, I still have some symptoms, the coughing and stuff, but I'm taking I'm taking 8 Timiflu. I take that twice a day, and then I take the steroids once a day, and I use my inhaler prednisone. I'm taking that once daily for 5 days. So wait a minute. How many days I've been on this already? I started taking this on Wednesday. This is third day right here. So yeah. So I'm taking the prednisone, um, the Timiflu. I'll be drinking. Yeah. Just for the coughing, that cough gets me, y'all. That cough gets me. And it seems like it really kicks up when I do a lot of talking or late in the evening time, and it's a cough that I just can't. I don't want to be around anybody while I'm coughing like that, right? So I didn't go into work today because I still sound nasal. I'm coughing like crazy. I don't have the headaches anymore and the chills, but just the coughing, the gagging cough bothers me. Um, at times, so yeah. Then at times my throat feel a little constricted and a little achy, but overall, I can say I'm feeling better than I did Wednesday. I'm feeling a little bit better than I did Wednesday. I did drink some turmeric tea with ginger, honey, a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I'll take some of that again today. I've been drinking a lot of fluid, a lot of water. Um, so yeah, so I've been doing that as well. Um, so good morning, Rebecca Wilcox. How are you? So thank you, Glendine. Mending on the way. So yeah, flu is wow. Like I said, I hadn't had it in years, other than the COVID, but the flu is just as bad, man. Just as bad. Take you up out of here, off your feet for a little while, but it is getting better, getting better. Y'all hit that like button if you're coming in. Good morning to you. How you doing this morning? Some of you on that grind, that last weekend grind. Some of you starting your week out today, and some of you on the grind out for the weekend. Yeah, some of you on the grind out for the weekend. Um, Black Coffee. Good morning. Good morning. So, in keeping up with the news, uh, South Carolina has enacted an emergency fund that will help with the food bank. They're not replacing the SNAP benefits, but they are releasing a fund that will replenish the food banks. But the food banks here are already feeling the impact. They're already struggling as well. So hopefully these food banks can meet the needs of people. Um, as we're hoping in the 11th hour, maybe in the 11th hour, that they will come to their senses and make a move. As I was talking to one of the content creators last night, is a double-edged sword. Somebody is going to lose in this. Okay, you're either going to lose the food stamps, or you're going to pay higher premium. That is the double-edged sword. So something is coming where the American citizens, the American people, are going to pay. So something has to give. Either the food stamp is going to have to give, or the premium for the insurance has to give. That's just all, and that's the acceptance. We're going to either pay on either end. You're going to pay on either end. Insurance premium is high as hell, even in the private sector where people are working. Insurance premiums are going up. If one thing that ever went up, every time I got a raise, my insurance went up. I don't know, many of you guys may have never experienced that, but every time, it never failed working for the state. Every time I got a raise with the state, lo and behold, right behind that raise, the insurance went up, right? Anybody ever experienced that? They get a raise, and then the next thing you know, you get a hike in your insurance. I've experienced that most of my career. Hike in insurance. Get a raise, hike in insurance. Good morning, country girl Queena. Lindine said, I just got to work. So, yeah, oh shoot, I can't get this little med pack open. Struggling to get the med pack open this morning. It's always a catch. Yeah, always a catch 2022. You're going to there. It's set up that way. It's by design. It's all by design. Trust me. They know this was coming. It's nothing out of the ordinary. This was coming. This was a plan, and we are the players in the play. We are the puppets, and they are the puppeteers. So it's all by design, y'all. Y'all don't think, if you didn't know that they weren't having these conversations way before this past week here, is just the way the election year is coming up. You need an election football with more work. Yeah, hey, Justice. Hello, Catrice said, hello, Justice, you're not lying. I feel like insurance taking our raise with more work. Yeah, they do. That's been happening for years. Man, the hours I've been in the workforce, every time I got a raise, insurance went up. Okay, I don't know if anybody else ever felt it, but every time I got a damn raise, you best believe insurance gonna take a little bit of it. They look like they be waiting on a raise. Damn. I can probably count on one hand and with three fingers when my insurance didn't go up when I got a raise. So, yeah. My dad is 88 years old. He pays for Blue Cross Blue Shield and Medicare, and he pays over $600 a month, and he's on a fixed income of $1,200. Look at that, Rebecca Wilcox. Look at that. Wow. 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 And if you're not 65 or younger, if you're not 65 years old, or you're not, or you're like in your 20s and your 30s, your premium may not be as bad. But if you in that middle range, like maybe 40s, 50s, and early 60s, you're going to pay. You're going to pay these premiums. Unfortunately, you're going to pay, and it's high. Some of these premiums are running as high as $400 to $500 a month. Now she said her daddy's 88 and he's paying $600 on Blue Cross Blue Shield. Can you imagine if you're younger? You ain't lying, just my mortgage and insurance went up over $250 more. Wow. So we're gonna pay, guys. We gotta get into the thing that we're gonna pay. It's gonna cost to play. It's gonna pay. You're gonna pay to play. you're going to pay to play, and that's just it, and that's just all. We gotta just understand that it is what it is right now. Um, Heavy rain in the west and northwest. Wow. So yeah, it's unfortunate, guys. So unfortunate. Um, as well, it's unfortunate. Um, yeah, it's unfortunate. Rain forecast, cloud and rain, wind Saturday every day. Y'all, it took me almost 5 minutes to get this damn pill out of this foil thing. God dang it. They make this foil thing so damn childproof that hell, it took me about 5 minutes to get the damn med. If I needed that med ASAP, y'all would have found me on somebody would have found me on the floor. It took me 5 minutes to get that damn that medication out that damn foil plastic. Jeez. Just think about what the ones with family, yeah. The family insurance. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm. So, yeah. Hi, Lily F. How are you? Ava Sabers, how you doing? Sylvia, how you Saver? How you doing? Well, so now got that taken care of. Let me take my vitamins. Ah, so yeah, guys. So that's just sad. Look at Thriller. We still doing Thriller. Michael Jackson Thriller is still the leading dance on Halloween, the leading song. I don't think Thriller will always be the number one song on Halloween. Man, that video is still that popular. Wow. Anybody still doing the Thriller? Yep. Good morning, Renee Sharp. How are you? Which one is this? Okay, got to make sure I got that. Um, Vitamin C, vitamin B12. Oh, let me plug in. I forgot I was dying out here. Yeah, excuse me. Good morning, Renee Sharp. Okay, what did I just take out? Okay. Alrighty. Winter Olympics getting ready to get started too, right? Yeah, so not a lot going on, guys. Other than what we've been talking about just now, to wait and see what happens, and watching the Fulio trial. His mom. That seemed to be an interesting trial going on. Fulio, that trial was finally. I was watching Cut Boys. I think it's Cut Boys talking about the Fulio trial. Y'all know Fulio was at. I think was he at the party when they got him? Was he the one at the party when they got Fulio? He was at his own birthday party. In Maryland, the people are starting to take their dogs to shelter because they can't afford their dogs. Wow. Wow. And that is the humane thing to do. You don't want to, but if it becomes a point where you have to struggle with a pet, feeding or caring for a pet, the humane thing to do is to give them up for adoption if you really can't afford to take care of it. The inhumane thing to do is to keep a dog that you cannot feed, or keep a dog that you cannot care for. If you're not in a position to give a dog proper care, proper shelter, proper feeding, proper time, proper walks, encounters, if you bought a dog just to keep in a kennel and to look at and to take out every so often, that's not fair to that dog. That is not fair. Fair to that. I said fair. That is not fair to that dog. or any pet that you may go get just for the sake of having one and not giving it the what it needs. All right, a lot of people are very, very, very endearing to pets. Right, some people care more about they will save their pet before they save another human being. At some point, there's some people like that. They will put their life on the line for their pet. Y'all know the story in Florida. Lady was walking her little puppy next to the lake in Florida. The alligator came out the lake, and she put herself between the alligator and the dog, and the alligator took the bigger object. Okay, took her into the lake. Yeah, he was unalive at a hotel in Tampa. Yeah, country girl Queena. Along with the raise came higher insurance premium and union dues. Therefore, you never see a pay increase. Black coffee all the time. I just noticed that the union dues, I really didn't see that much of an increase, but the damn insurance. I paid union with the county, Cook County, when I was working at Cook County. I paid the union dues there, and but the insurance got hit. I got hit with the insurance at every raise. I don't care. Even in South Carolina, hit with the raise. Hit with the raise. So yeah, yeah, that happened this past last year or early part of this year. She was walking her dog, and she put herself in between the dog and the gator, and the gator took her. So there are people that will give their life for their pet. They're like their little children. They call them their fur babies. So when I see people, like I said, I wanted a dog, but I'm not in a position to do like walk the dog the way I would want to walk my dog. I'm not in that position. If I'm not walking myself the way I should, I'm not going to take a dog until I'm responsible, get the responsibility of getting up every morning, walking that dog at least 2 to 3 times a day. Because that's what I was used to doing when my ex and I had dogs, and it was her dogs. But getting up in the morning before going to work, walking the dog, coming home from work, walking the dog, dogs, and before I went to bed at night, walking the dogs. Dogs got walked 3 times a day, right? As soon as you got home from work, the dogs were walked. As soon as before you go to bed, the dogs were walked. So, and with that much responsibility of making sure that you can get them the shots on top, get their shots, get them their medical care, provide medical care, get their grooming done, you got a lot of responsibility because they can't do for themselves. You can teach your kids to groom themselves eventually and to take care of themselves and to feed themselves eventually. But with dogs, they're going to depend on you for everything. Feeding, grooming, bathroom, unless you got a big yard and you let them out in the backyard and they know to go and you have to go up there and clean up after them. That's the one thing, right? You got a yard where you can allow them to go out and run. You got a yard big enough where they can get their exercise and they can run and you can go out there and toss a ball with them and everything. If you got a yard that big, that's going to be adequate for that dog to run up and down that yard. You can throw the ball, get out there and play with them. Those are the things that you got to be able to do with the dog. But if you're just getting one for the fact of having one and you're not caring for it and you're not giving them the proper things they need, there is no way in hell a dog should be in a cage without any type of comfort. I'm never ever will allow my dog to sleep in a cage without a blanket, a pillow. I don't give a dang. Ain't no way. I just couldn't see it. A dog sitting in a dog house without comfort. You can build all the dog houses you want. You still got to build with comfort. Right? So, no, I wouldn't do that to a dog. I got more care for an animal to bring an animal to my home, and I can't give them proper care. I'm not doing that. As much as I wanted one, and I know I can get a little, a little house, what do you call it? A little terrier or something. You can probably get one of those, but I know at my time, I'm not going to provide the time that a dog would need with emotional and everything else. I'm not going to be able to do that. So I choose not to do it at this time. Country Girl says facts. So yeah, there's a lot of people out here that will invest a lot in their fur babies, and they will do it. They will give the time. Um, so that's one thing. Um, Somebody saying that people can't be able to feed, will they be able to feed their dogs? You know, and the food that the dog food that they got here today, my God, you know, almost like human food. They got food in the freezer and the refrigerator now. So you know, and a lot of people want to be able to give their dog some really good food. Nobody wants to always feed their dog table food. It's not good for them. I learned that years ago because we probably used to when I lived with my mom and stuff. When we were young, we probably gave our dog table food and regular food. But as you get older, you learn, hey, table food is really not good for the dog. It's not good for their digestive system. Eating straight human food, all that stuff, no. So hey, Vicky Gail Harris. So yeah, so that's what's going on with that. So people turning your dogs into the shelter for a while, or putting them up for adoption for a while, or giving it to somebody that can help you care for it for a while. You know, if you have a friend that is willing to watch and help, you know, somebody may take your dog in for a while you know, get through this part. Um, you know, just like you may have to pick up shift work to keep up with your dogs. If you don't have kids, you may have to pick up a couple hours at a shift work to pay for the dog. I was watching this content creator from Chicago. I think her name is Shanaki. She's a food reviewer in Chicago. And she did a um, a video where she did shift work at a restaurant for about 2 or 3 hours. You know, she did a shift work. She is a content creator. She has a huge following. But she picked up shift work at a restaurant for about 3 to 4 hours. So you know, that can probably, if you got human food, if you got food to feed you, but need a little extra, probably pick up a shift work somewhere at a restaurant or a some of the factories for a couple hours and make that money for the dog. Good morning, Terry Cody. Um, yep, 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 yep. Yep. So, yeah, it's out there, guys. It's out there. I know the competition on the youth on Uber and Lyft is probably going to increase a lot. A lot of people are probably going to be using their cars. I don't know. I'm just projecting, and I mean not projecting, but thinking maybe people will put their car in use. What? Jimmy Smith. Accessory after the murder. Considered armed and dangerous. They got a search for a wanted suspect. That part right there. Hold for a minute, y'all. It's cool today. It's 47 degrees here. Only getting 67 today. It's not bad. 67 with the sun out today. But it's cool out there right now. Wow. Well, yeah, that's going on, guys. What's going on in your guys' world? Everything good where you guys are? Everybody good? Everybody got a thumbs up today? Any thumbs down or any thumbs up? Is it a thumbs up day for you or a thumbs down? And how are we going to turn that? Give me a signal. Is it a thumbs up so far for you or a thumbs down? Thumbs up, says Glendine. That's how we'll check in. Everybody got a thumbs up or a thumb down? How can we help you? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Check in. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Glendine says she got a thumb up today. How you feeling, y'all? If you're driving, don't worry about it. Thumbs up, says Catrice. 39 in why can't Indianapolis. Catrice got a thumbs up. 39. It's cold out there, Terry. Ava's got a thumbs up. Terry got a thumbs up. We got all thumbs up so far. Good job, y'all. Thumbs up for the day. Thumbs up. I got a thumbs up today as well. So it's not a bad day, y'all. Not a bad morning. We getting started. Just now getting started. Not a bad morning. Even with the coughing, I am grateful and thankful just to be here this morning. I'm gonna do a couple puff on my spray right quick, y'all. Let me grab it. Couple puff on my Buterol. Give me 1 second. This Banks. They got another monkey on the loose. Man, they letting these monkeys loose all over the place. Let me check that out. The Honest Bank. They got another Honest Bank things. Thumbs up. Indigo, thumbs up. Terry Cody says, thank you, Jesus. There you go. Thumbs up. So we got all thumbs up. That's a good thing, y'all. And if we had a thumbs down, don't worry. We'll help you get to that thumbs up some kind of way. You'll get there. Let me shake this up for a minute, y'all. Take a couple puffs of this. I'm not even hungry. I want some coffee this morning. I don't have an appetite this morning. I think it's the medication. You know, I'm still taking my GPL-1 shots, y'all. So I don't even have an appetite this morning. But I will drink some coffee sometime this morning and drink some tea. But I don't have an appetite. Thank you, Country Girl Queena. Let's go. Puff. Okay. That's done. Okay, cover. Meds took all my meds this morning. Just put Vicks on your neck and cover up that Vicks on the bottom of your feet and put some socks on. I don't have any Vicks rub. I need to go get some. I don't have any Vicks rub. I don't have any Vicks rub, but I do plan to, stay covered up as much as possible, and just kind of like, stay covered up and as much as possible. Good morning, Wanda Clarity. Hey. Oh, in Mississippi after a truck crash, man. They let the monkey escape in Mississippi. What's this thing going on in the South that they letting all these monkeys escape? Just at least try to eat some crackers or something while taking the meds. Yeah, I'm going to try to do something. I just don't have an appetite. It's like, I just don't feel like eating anything. I just don't. Like, yesterday I got up and like I said, I ate a little something. I ended the day with a tuna fish sandwich and some peanuts, but I don't have any appetite this morning, not at all. Nope. I do have if I'm gonna do something, I do have some English muffins in there. I can probably put an English muffin together. I'm just gonna wait to eat. I'm just gonna wait. Probably later, mid-morning, maybe a brunch or something. I'll put something together. Maybe I'll do English muffin, an egg and sausage, and I'll do that mid-morning. Let's see what they're saying about the government roll down. Let me see.
Democrats forced bipartisanship in Washington. President Trump in a post overnight telling his Senate colleagues to go nuclear. The problem is, though, that the Senate is not even in session. They won't be back until next week.
Okay, here's what we got. We don't even have Congress in session, y'all. Ain't nothing gonna change. Congress is not even in session till next week, y'all. Congress is not even in session till next week. Wait a minute, they're not even on the Capitol. Hold up. Well, the election day is next week, so that could have a telltale sign. Um, Next week, November 4th. So that's Congress should not be getting paid and let them feel the pain that we feel. But they're gonna get paid, y'all. I'm buffering, guys. When I say I'm gonna step out for a second, that's when I start to buffer. So I'm back. If I'm still buffering, go out and come back in. Hey, Usilla, what's going on? I'm Terry called. Just absorb the medicine so it doesn't irritate your stomach. Yeah. I'll probably get a little something a little later. Um, Yeah, but they're getting paid and they're not here this week. They're not even in Washington, so ain't nothing changing until next week. Maybe next Wednesday, Thursday. Let's see. The first is when? The first is tomorrow. The second, the third, and the fourth. So nothing may change until the fifth. Yeah, go out and come back in, y'all. Go out and come back in and see if that helps. Good morning, Nicole. What's going on? Good morning, Ursula. If I hadn't said Ursula yet, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Tilo, what's going on? Um, Wanted to clear the honest banks. So good morning, everybody, as you come in. Yeah. So let's see. So yeah, that's happening. Um,
Sunday on Meet the Press. Sean Diddy Combs was transferred to the federal prison at Fort Dix, New Jersey yesterday, where he will start to serve the rest of his 15-month sentence. Combs had been held at a detention center in Brooklyn.
So P. Diddy is on his way to a federal prison. I wonder what his federal prison looked like. Forgiveness. Is forgiveness in the house? I'm back, guys. I'm about to head off. Everyone enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, stay prayed up, and God bless you all. Okay, Country Girl Queena. More people on my team were furloughed yesterday. Unfortunately, I still have to work with no pay. Wow, Avis. Wow. And it's just like it's going to continue. It's going to continue. And unfortunately, we just hope by the end of the weekend, by next week, people come to their senses. It's unfair that Congress is still getting paid and the employees are not. It is unfair that Congress see themselves, they taking a paycheck while the federal employee, the other employees are not getting paid. That is so unfair. That is so unfair. Wow. Um, wow. Well, everybody just kind of, I guess I went out for a minute. Um, Thank y'all for the rubies and gifts. I see that's coming in. I'm back, you guys. I just had to step out for a second. If y'all would come back in or go back out, whatever. Um, I'm back. And that's what my daughter that was calling. So we're doing that. So
He was convicted in July on 2 counts of interstate prostitution. Combs is slated to be released in May of 2028, but could be released earlier for good behavior. Now to those deadly storms that soaked the Northeast overnight. The downpour causing widespread And flash flooding in New York's Central Park.
My God, I didn't even know that was happening in New York, guys. I didn't know New York Central Park had a flash flood with almost what, 2.5 feet of water? I did not know that was happening in New York. Prayers out for the Northeast, man. These guys got flooded out there. I had no idea that was happening out there in New York. Did you guys know that New York got hit hard with storms? Wow, hold tight, y'all. New York and New Jersey got walloped yesterday. And that scene in New York seemed like I seen that with Sandy a few years ago. Wow. Well, prayers for New York and New Jersey, guys. This weather system, when they have these flooding type situation, it's like crazy. Glendine said, yes, it was terrible yesterday. I had no idea that was going on in New York, in New Jersey yesterday. Wow, that is crazy, y'all. Yes, I was stuck in traffic for 4 hours yesterday because of the flooding. Wow. So you up there, okay. Wow. They had like 2 inches of rain. It looked about like the subway system. It looked like the subway systems was flooded completely out. And looked like they had at least 2.5 foot of water on the street. So wow. Glendine said, yes, I'm in New York. But you be safe out there, Glendine. I don't know what it looks like today, but y'all be safe out there. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy things happening. Wow. Yes, Glendine, stay safe, says forgiveness. Wow. Wow, man, that is crazy. Wow. Mm. I just saw where P. Diddy got 50 months in a federal prison. He's eligible. He's going to be released sometime May 2028 if he served the entire time. But if with good time, he can get out by 2020, sometime between 2026 and 2027. I think it's going to be early, like, I think he's going to do 2027. Maybe late 2026. But he'll be out probably by end of next year. But toward the end of next year, early 2027 with good time. Wow. Wow. Oh, man. Not a lot. Just watching the news, guys. Also, I made some changes on my story. I'm going to do it on StreamYard. If y'all saw on my wall, I have decided to do Get to Know Justice Reacts. Let me tell my own story. I'm going to do that on November 2nd. I believe that is on Sunday at 7 a.m. I decided to do it on StreamYard, YouTube, StreamYard. At that point, because I don't know, I canceled my Zoom account and don't. So I want, if a lot of people won't be able to get in, and I want it to be open to as many people as possible. And so I'm going to do it StreamYard YouTube event on November 2nd. Get to Know Justice Reacts. Let me tell my own story. Since I was doxxed, I'm going to tell my own story. I'm going to tell who I am, and I think I get the power and control over that. So that's going to be November 2nd at 7 o'clock p.m. StreamYard. It's going to be a Cash App event or party. So any donations will be accepted. I normally don't do that. I've done that maybe once, but I think I'm going to make that a Cash App event. Any donations, I had 5 or 10, but any donations accepted if at your will. But it is definitely going to be where questions and answers, Q&A. It's going to be a Q&A. Um, I will decide, still have liberty to answer questions and questions I don't want to answer. I will not. It still gives me privy, having a Q&A discussing who I am, but certain things will still be private as well. So you guys are invited to the event. You're invited to the event November 2nd at 7 p.m. Um, Let Justice tell her own story. Um, and I will be telling my own story. Um, who I am. Introducing Justice Reacts. Uh, so that's what I'll be doing. Um, yeah, everybody looking forward to it. I am very interested in being able to, uh, talk about Justice Reacts, how we got here, who I am, and where I came from, and just tell my story, share my history, share my story, and that's the way I'm going to handle it. I don't know about writing a book. I don't know about writing a book. Um, you know, um, I got to get, my family do have a legacy book. I think I shared the legacy book with you all. I'm going to pull out the legacy book. Um, and I didn't share a lot of it with you all because at that point in time, you know, I was being extremely private with certain things. But I will pull out my history, my family history, legacy on my mother's side, and I also have one on my father's side. Both of them, both families did books, legacy books. Um, so I got my mother's side. I don't know. I don't know if I ever got the copy of my father's legacy book, but they did one as well, with all the families and history and background, all the way to great great grandparents. I have pictures of my father and his mother and his oldest sister, and the oldest child, and then the second oldest child. So, and it's a black and white picture with my grandfather sitting. His wife, my grandmother, is standing next to her carrying. It looks just like, I'm gonna see if I can get that picture, and it's I'll be sharing pictures as well. Um, you know, I'll be sharing pictures as well. 'Cause I love that picture to see my father's father and his mother standing next to her, and they're holding the oldest baby. The oldest child is standing next to my grandmother. My auntie is standing next to my grandmother, and then the second oldest, the first of two children, are in the picture. So that is something that I'm also proud of on both. To have those pictures on both sides of my family, to be able to share that with you all openly and not feeling like, hey, and some I will probably discover family on this YouTube. I got a feeling I'm going to discover that I have some family members that have been following me on YouTube. They'll be able to disclose if they want to reveal themselves or not. But I'm pretty sure I do have some people that have been following me that are family members based on the family sake name and where they're located. So, yeah. So I'm interested in finding out if I have any family on this YouTube, because I probably do. I probably do. Just based on namesake and location. Uh, yeah. Yep. So that's what we're doing November 2nd at 7 o'clock. If you have pictures, right on the back information that you have, and you can share it with your daughter and different family members. Yeah, we all have those pictures, and like I said, I just want to, pictures passed down. Everybody have their, like, I got a box with nothing but pictures in there. A whole box. I have about 5 or 6 photo albums. Um, my family, and I would tell y'all the story of how we lost most of our pictures. Because if y'all think waiting to exhale, I can't tell y'all about that. I'll tell y'all about that and the story of Justice Reacts. Tell it all. Not tell all, but yeah, that was a funny story about how some of our pictures are not there. And I'll share that story as well. Why we lost some of the memories, because it's funny. I always tell it. I'm like, y'all think, then if I tell it now, you guys will kind of guess it, but I'm not gonna tell it until Sunday. Uh, why we have some limited pictures on certain events, but I'll be able to share that on Sunday. I'm excited to talk about Justice Reacts, and yeah, I'll be able to share my brother with y'all. Like I said, I'm gonna see if he's gonna get here on Sunday. If not, I will share with you all his business um, and everything else. So let you guys know where you can go get some great food um, as well. So yeah, yeah, yep, yep, yep. So I know there are people that have went on my family page on Facebook. They've located my family on Facebook. They located my father's funeral on Facebook. I know that's for a fact that they have done that. Um, and I can say this, I am so grateful and so thankful that we were able, thank you, Black Coffee, for the high five, that we were able to give my father a awesome send off. So when they go look on Facebook, they will see the awesome send off homecoming that my father had um, in preparation, years of preparation, because that's what the family does. You know, um, so yeah, so my father's funeral was on Facebook. My brother has his story on Facebook as well. Because I know they've been on his page as well. Um, but that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. There's nothing they can do. They can go look, enjoy. That's it. Enjoy. It's a public. My brother's Facebook page. Um, my Facebook page is private, completely private. I got one of the most private Facebook pages out there. I don't. My Facebook page is definitely private. You can look at my one Facebook that I connected with YouTube is open, but my Facebook page is completely private. Um, I kept that completely private. So yeah, it's funny how they came up with all the lies that, to take my family pictures and put them in certain places and lie and say that they did it because I spoke on their loved ones, deceased loved one, and that was a lie. But the lies they created to do what they want to do and to have the excuse to do what they want to do. There's nothing I can do about that at all. I can't do anything. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I just have to move. the way I move, because there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. Yeah, they put my mother and my sister and my baby pictures in the sister circle, and they probably got my father there now as well. And um, but there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing I can do. That's what how they do things, and I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna leave it right there. That's how they do things. That's how they justify doing things. And but I'm gonna tell my story. Um, and that's it. That's it. I'm gonna tell my story. I have a proud story to tell, good, bad, and ugly. But I still overall have one of the most proudest story to tell about my family name, and and I can stand on that. Okay, so that's where we're gonna be, and I have a proud family name on both sides of my family, and that's just it, and that's all. Um, no, nobody can tell my story about me. And I was listening to what got me also. That I was listening to Tanya, beautifully healed, and she kind of motivated me as well. Thank you, Tanya. Tell your own story. Tell your own story. Nobody has that power about you. People can take your story and tell it and make it the way they want to, and try to put their narrative on it. You tell your own story, right? And my story is a beautiful story. Bumps, grinds, with the ugly, the good, the bad, the ugly, the bumps, the cries, the tears. I got them all. Some I will share, some I will not. Um, but as I go on. Okay, thank you, beautifully healed. You're right there, yeah. When I heard you say, let me tell my story, I'm like, yeah, that's how you do that. You take the power from people's hands and think that they're going to use your story against you, and take the power out of your hand and try to hurt you when you know your story and you can tell it better than anybody else. Um, you were there. And that takes the power out of people thinking that they can hurt you and shame you with life events. You know, they want to take life circumstances, things that you have, some things that you have control and some things that you didn't have control over, and use it against you and try to shame you, right? Nobody asked to be doxxed. I never doxed anybody. I never went and got people's personal information and put it on YouTube. I only discussed the information that was provided on YouTube by said parties. I didn't go out here, look up no extra family, even though the lie came out and said something that I was involved in something. I mean, to add me and said I was involved in something with somebody's mother or grandmother and I was a part of that. That was the biggest lie ever told. Just in order to come at me and lie and say and give a reason, that never happened. But good morning, beach girl. So all types of things were being said to justify the doxing of Justice Reacts when there was no justification other than wanting to know who I was. And the availability of that came about when I talked about the death of my father. Once I put that out there, I knew once I announced the death of my father, that possibility that because people know where I'm located, um, that would be done. I knew once I announced the death of my father, that was going to happen, and it happened just the way I thought. Once I announced that his death, it would be easy to go look and find out, uh, the timing, and then his pictures were already on YouTube, on Facebook. Not Facebook. His picture was already here because I shared my father's picture. So once they seen the picture on the obituary, on the announcement that it was done, and they took advantage of that situation, and then came up with a whole bunch of reasons why they could dox me. And I don't care. I don't care how I talk about what I talked about. I didn't deserve to be doxxed. Okay, I did not deserve. My family did not deserve to be put out here. Their names were not to be deserved to be called out. Their address would never need to be called out, and I didn't deserve that because I never did that to anybody else. I may talk my ish, I may do my commentary, I will react, I will respond as well, and I'll give my commentary. That did not mean I deserve to be doxxed. Okay? This is YouTube. Even if the information is public information, I didn't go out there and put your family name out here, your different family names and addresses out here. Y'all brought y'all own information out here. My family did not deserve to be doxxed. I was just wondering if you know that may happen if you announce. Yeah, that's why I was not only. I knew that was going to happen once I announced my father's passing, that they were going to dox me. I knew it. It wasn't about somebody, making fun. It was about they were going to. I did a lot to remain private. I had that right to remain private. No matter what I do, if I chose to be Justice Reacts, that's the right that I had. And nobody had the right to take that away from me. No matter how I do my commentary, that was not necessary. But people felt they had the right to do it, and they did it. And I knew it was going to happen. I knew what they were going to do that, Tilo. I knew it was going to happen. Once and I'll talk more about that in um, in getting to know, telling my story. I'll talk more about that as well on getting to know Justice Reacts and let me tell my own story. So I will talk more about how the decision came about, my concerns at that point in time, why I moved the way I moved on YouTube as well, and how I moved on YouTube. So a lot of things I'll be able to share, free up a lot of things, people questions, and like I said, stories reserve the right to keep some things private. But yeah. But yeah, once I made the announcement, I knew that they would be looking, and it would be easy to find the name, and they did exactly. Sometimes I think they had that information way before then. Sometimes I think they just looked for a time, but I honestly believe that they'd already had the information. Because I don't believe that there is an email people. I believe there's one source of person that's able to do this. I think there's one person that has the ability to do this and do it quickly, and that's using the resources that they have, that there's available to them. And I don't think there's actual email people. I think there's a couple of people that has that information, that has that source. And I'm not going. I have my own. I've always said, tell your own story because nobody can tell it like you can, and they can twist it, but they can't tell it like you can tell it. Thank you, beautifully healed. Appreciate that. So, like I said, when I saw your video talking about what you had went through and your kids and stuff, I'm like, you know what? That is powerful. That is somebody that has, like, you know what? No, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to tell my story. You're not going to use my story to fit your situation. And I was inspired by you, beautifully healed, to come out there and do that. So thank you. Um, so a lot going on, and answer a lot of questions about, my career. Um, some, where I've been in the past, and clear up some things about my career, and yeah. But like I said, there was no need to do that. My players is sad. She can't come out here and tell her own story because they actually could motivate somebody, but she's stuck in the fictitious life that she has. Yeah, want to tell everybody else's story but can't tell their own, and that's a sad situation, because our lives made us who we are today, right? The bumps, the grinds made you the woman. If you are a woman today that is standing proud, holding it down, and you came through bumps and grinds of life, if you came through the knocks, the valleys, and the hills in life, you got a story to tell. Okay, when you get ready to tell that story, you tell that story, but nobody had that right to be able to tell my story and share my story but me when I got ready to. But they kind of put my hands in a situation where, hell, you know what, I'm not going to let y'all try to tell my family story. I'm proud of my brothers, I'm proud of my sister, I'm proud of my father, I'm proud of my grandmother, I'm proud of my mother, proud of my daughter, proud of my nieces and nephews. I'm proud of every last one of them. Love them all. So, and even in this grieving process, thank you, Black Coffee. Even in this process where I'm grieving, my grieving doesn't stop because of this YouTube page. I promise you, it don't stop. Nobody can stop the grieving process that somebody's going through, right? They don't stop. Um, I can find grieving can be quiet thoughts, quiet memory thinking, wails and tales of crying, silent cries. Grieving can be just sitting on quietly, laying on your pillow, and just memories coming, flowing. So the grieving process looks different for everybody. It's not no one way to grieve, and YouTube will never interfere with the grieving process. Because I'm going to grieve. I've been grieving. I've been grieving for over 20 years. Over 20 years. I'm texting, talking for, forgive me for the. Oh, yeah, girl, beautifully healed. Text talking make you look crazy. So, you know, I know where you are, because that thing make you look like you ain't got no sense. Facts on your terms. I hate that some things are public information when me and my guy purchase our next home is going in trust. Y'all won't find. There you go. There you go. Sometimes you got to put things in a trust. Sometimes you got to make certain moves, and you learn as you go how to protect yourself and how to protect names and stuff. And yeah, thank you, Beautiful Heal, for the 100. Thank you, guys. Dorothy Burns for the flowers. Thank you, guys. Hey, Teresa J, how you doing? So my grieving I've been grieving for over 20 years. I started grieving in 2000, in August of 2005. And I grieved even harder July of 2008. And I grieved even harder in November of 2020. And I'm grieving even harder today as of October 16th, 2025. So the grieving process for me has never ended. Okay? And the very first time I grieved and still grieve and still cry was in 1999 when I lost my grandmother. So over 20 something years of grieving. Okay? Over 20 years of grieving, and I still grieve today. And I've learned to grieve, live, breathe, grieve, and live. Um, and that's how I'm doing it. You breathe, you live, you grieve, you get up, you do what you got to do. What you got to do. You put your clothes on like everybody else. You go to work, you sit in the office, you might find yourself grieving. Something may trigger a memory, a smell, a food, anything. Grieving does not have a look, it doesn't have a time, it doesn't have a period. at all. You just learn to get better as time move on. It'll get better. It's going to get better, and it'll get better. It gets better, but that doesn't mean you just learn how to not to get to a point where grieving, and I call it a type of grief, and I got to think of the word. I haven't used it since a while. Where I met it started with a C. Somebody here can remember because I haven't used the term. There's a type of grief that can cause such a can take somebody completely out where they don't take care of themselves at all. They can't move past. It's been over 5 or 10 years where the grief process has actually stopped them from even involving themselves in life. It started with a C. I cannot think about it. If somebody's in here, is a type of grief where it stagnates a person. They're not able to get to work. They're not able to take care of themselves. This requires intense therapy. This requires intense therapy. The person is not even moving forward at all. Everything stops, um, and they will grieve to a point where they're not even daily living skills are not even maintained, and the grief has overtaken everything in their lives. And that is a type of grief that really, when you have somebody diagnosed or dealing with that type of grief, that's the hard one. Um, my grief is I'm able to still move around. I'm able to get up. I'm able to take care of my daily living skills. Able to, you know, do what I need to do to survive. And but I grieve. Yeah, complicated grief. Thank you, Terry Cody. Thank you. That's the type of grief. Thank you. That's the type of grief that I have dealt with clients, and that's definitely something where um, if you recognize that type of grief, that's a hard thing to deal with. I've dealt with a client with complicated grief, and at some point, you know, as much help is really sometimes you have to say, well, you know, good morning, Lisa Hector. How are you? But you're correct, Terry Cody. Complicated grief. That's when you deal with that type of diagnosis. Is a number of factors that play for that diagnosis when you can regularly when people are grieving and then complicated grief. Um, but like I said, I've been grieving over 20 years. I've learned, get up, take deep breath, cry, laugh, memories, talk about it. Um, you know, you still deal with it, but then there are moments when you just, you know, let go, and it's okay. I have a cousin who did it. I'm on 80 and has never been the same since her daughter passed. She smoked one cigarette after another and barely speaks. Wow, Tilo. Wow. Wow. And there's some people that just need extra help and they're not dealing well, and you know it may be more than just grief. Sometimes that we have that depression, the anxiety, just a loss of what other factors may be in play, and it takes a lot. It takes a lot for some people. Some people check out completely after a loss. They check out completely. They're not ready. They won't not deal with life with that loss. They're not going to deal with it. Some people self-medicate to deal with it. They take on different types of maladaptive ways to deal with certain losses, mm, and it's a situation. Some people may. I found myself, um, and I'm glad I checked. I ate a little bit. Like I told you guys, I did some damage to some ice cream. I ate a little bit, and during that time, and also my doctor told me I may have been most susceptible to getting the flu because of the stress of the situation. And she says when you're dealing with a loss in a stressful situation, your body immune system is more open uh, to getting certain things like the flu, influenza A. So that part can play a part in it too as well. Um, so many factors play into. Tomorrow is my mother's birthday. As I stated, I was 5 when she passed away. Wow, Lisa Hector. My deepest condolences to you. And oh wow, you were 5. That's uh, yeah. It's wow. But I'll talk more about that as well. Um, some of the things I did when my sister was diagnosed with cancer. Man, my life became consumed um, with doing certain things when she was diagnosed. I did everything I thought I could to save my sister. I think that was the hardest one I dealt with is when my sister was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I think I became so consumed and I did any and everything I could. I wanted to save her and I couldn't. And I think that was the hardest. Yeah, my twin sister. I think that was the hardest and the biggest I ever think I could fight. It was my twin sister. So, because my twin sister was my first sister I lost. And she was the oldest out of all of us. She was the oldest twin. And so, yeah. So, so, yeah. The battles, the time when you just did any and everything, money, everything. I mean, myself, my family, everything, nothing. Um, yeah, yeah. Lisa says she's decorating for the holidays and stay busy. Yeah. Sometimes, like I said, it's just those moments. But like I said, I'll be able to probably talk more, share more now. I don't have. I can share more, talk more, um, and invite you guys in more. This, like I said, it was always hard for me to be a little vulnerable to you all in the beginning. So yeah, this is a yeah, but you can't let people use your life and use your story to hurt you for your private information. Thank you for the floating heart, Lisa. You can't let them hurt you with the information that, even though you can get public, it's still your private information. My address maybe have been public but you had to go get my address. And then you had to expose my address. The story of getting my address to use to sue me was one thing. Let me say this. But what did it have to do with exposing it? That's what I couldn't understand. If you wanted my address to use against me in court, that had nothing to do with putting it on YouTube and Facebook. That's the reasoning that I cannot get out. Praying for you, and I also got my twin, and I also lost my twin, and I don't know, but it seems like one like that one hot real hard, and lost 4 siblings. But my twin, Lord, constant prayer to you. I'm back, guys. Getting ready for work, and this topic I sure appreciate it. I needed it. Thank you, Nikki. Good morning, Karen Martin. How are you guys doing? Well, guys, I'm gonna get up out of here. Again, I will see you guys later today. Again, don't miss Justice Tells Her Story, November 2nd at 7, Sunday at 7 p.m. I will be live stream, and it's going to be a Cash App event. Any donations accepted. And like I said, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my own story. Nobody, that's my right. They took it away from me. They tried to take it away from me. But I got the power. And this is how I'm going to do it. So I'll see you guys. I'm going to go talk to my daughter for a little while, and I will see you guys later. Prayers out to everybody. Definitely, Nikki, you know what it, I think it was, Nikki, you know what it feels like, that fight, to lose a twin, to lose anyone in your family, lose your mom, your dad, your sister, your grandmother, family members, but that my twin, yeah, yeah. Get ready for working on this topic. I sure appreciate it, needed. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you for sharing. Kimberly McNeil, thank you for your prayers. And you guys have a great one. I will see y'all soon. This is Justice Reacts, y'all. I'm up out of here, y'all. See y'all soon.